Hey, this is Bartik again with StartupMath.com. In the last example, we talked about what happens to a company when it gets sold. In that scenario, we were talking about a preference structure called non-participating preferred, meaning that it's up to the preferred shareholder to decide whether they want to convert to common or maintain their preferred share ownership. But there's another share structure which is popular, which is even more favorable for an investor, and that's called participating preferred. And at a high level overview, what that allows the VC or angel investor to do is to get the initial investment that they put in back or a multiple of that investment back, and then participate in the remaining amount of money as if they were a common shareholder. So I wanted to just walk through how that math works with you guys. So this is the same scenario that we've outlined in the previous examples. Now let's assume again for this high exit scenario, or let's assume that it's a high exit scenario. What happens? So the basic math behind it is such that the VC investors will get their initial money out first. Let's say this is a 1x liquidation preference. So the total amount of money that's gone to the company is $4.5 million. So that means that the amount available for common shareholders after the preferred shareholders take their money out is $45.5 million. But the preferred shareholders now participate as if they were common. So in this case, let's say the seed investors uh, own a total of 12.6% of the company. Well, they now also are entitled to 12.6% of the $45.5 million after they took out their $1.5 million. So what does that mean for a VC investor? Well, clearly the returns are going to be higher because you're effectively allowing yourself to double dip. You first take out all the money that you put into the company, or even potentially 2 to 3 times the amount of money you put into a company, but that's not as typical. And then you participate as if you were a common shareholder. So if you remember in our last example, what the returns looked like, you can compare it to the previous sheet, and you'll see that these are actually higher. Um, Now, let's say that there's a low exit scenario. So take that same $5 million exit scenario that we talked about in the previous example. There's still only $500,000 left, but the VC is still entitled to a portion of that $500,000. So the end result, if you remember in the last example, on a $5 million exit, the VCs get exactly 1x back. In this case, they actually get 1.1x back because they're entitled to a sliver of that remaining $500,000. So clearly, from a VC's perspective, participating preferred is more favorable than non-participating preferred. And it's actually easier to model because there's no decision. There's no conversion of shares. The VC will always exercise their liquidation preference, and then they're going to participate as if they were common.